Hello Flossstube, this is Angie Bubmie on Instagram. It is March 29th and today is my Flossiversary. 1 year ago today I made my first floss tube and I'm excited to be back with you, and I'm excited that it's been a whole year. And thanks for sticking with me, and if you're a subscriber and you've been with me for the whole year, I appreciate that very much. And if you're new, welcome. I just talk about my stitching and what's going on in the world a little bit, not too much. There's no political, there's no religion, there's none of that in here. I apologize for my red nose. I'm on spring break, and on the first day of spring break, I came down with a sinus infection and have been doctoring it with it ever since. So luckily through video, you can't catch my germs. To celebrate my Flossiversary, I'm going to do a giveaway. And so I have two things for you. What did I do with the second thing? That's a good start. Since it's been spring break, I've been crafting, and I made, it's not fully done yet, I made one of these scissor holders. Actually, I made two scissor holders. I made one for me and one for one of you. So just needs to be stained. I figured the winner can tell me, do they want it just left natural, or would they like a light stain or a dark stain? My husband's gonna drill the holes in the top for the scissors, and then I will glue the top on. So that will be one of the prizes. And the other prize, what in the world did I do with it? Oh, here it is. The other prize is I will give you this Welcome Spring by Little House Needleworks. I just finished this and I will kit it up. So the winner can tell me what kind of fabric they would like, and I will get all the threads, and that will be the prize. So I'm going to say at the beginning of my video until I get going. Apologize for that. Please be a subscriber. Please be over 18. Comment below, and what the comments I would like to read would be, what is your favorite cross stitch item that you've fallen in love with over the years? Is it a needle minder? Do you have a favorite needle minder that you put on your projects? Is it that you love DMC floss, you love fancy floss, your Q-snap, your frame? What is it that you know, throughout the years of being a stitcher that you really love? I don't know what my favorite thing is. I started out stitching in hand when I was a kid. When I started stitching, I stitched in hand. Sometimes I would use a hoop, and sometimes I use can't talk. Sometimes I use a hoop. Sometimes I use a frame. Is that what it's called? I have this on this project that I've tacked on there. A frame like that. I have a RolaFrame that I have my very large project on. I have used a Q-snap, and they're all fine. I don't mind any of them. None of them bother me or anything. I just like stitching in hand, and I don't have to move anything, and I think part of it is when I have a hoop or the frame, I find with my left hand I grip it a little tighter than when I'm doing it in hand. When I'm doing it in hand, I don't have a death grip on my fabric, and when I use something else, I find I have to tell myself, okay, relax, you don't have to, you don't have to chuck it at somebody. So but I'd like to hear what your favorite thing is. I love my needle minders. So although my needle minders tend to sit here and look at me, and I love all of them. It reminds me of all the places I've been and the people have given them to me, or that I've gotten them, that type of thing. So that's it. Today, I hope you have something nice to drink. It's not as nice out as it was yesterday. Yesterday it was 72 and I sat outside and stitched for about an hour, and it was fabulous. And today it's overcast and when I was in the car, I think it said it was 45, but I only went outside with a sweatshirt on, and that was perfectly fine. But in my Gary Brooks Surge cup, I have some hot chai tea today. So I love chai tea. Gary Brooks is an educator from Lexington, Kentucky. If you haven't heard of him, and it's Gary with a G, G-E-R-R-Y. He's a principal, and he does these funny spoofs about parents and teachers and education and things that happen, that everything he says are things that are happen. He's not making anything up. They all happen. But it's lighthearted and reminding you to have a sense of humor and how to get along with people and how to deal with the stress that we deal with every day. And I've seen him in person, and he is absolutely phenomenal. And he has a new book out that's coming soon that I can't wait. Because I'm an educator. I'm a speech language pathologist. I work at a high school, and I work with students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I love my job. I love my kids. They're a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right. I was at my mother-in-law's to start my spring break, because then we took a trip to Nashville to see our boys. And when I was with my mother-in-law, she has a new Afghan. I had been there a couple weeks before and saw these beautiful pinks she was working on, and I was like, can I just claim that now? And she's like, of course you can. So here is her newest lovely creation. One of these days I'm going to pull them all out together in one room and count how many I own, because it's quite a lot. She's so wonderful. She says she's trying to use all her yarn. She has bins and bins of yarn, but she always starts a project and then needs a color. So, all right, so my stitch from stash for the month of March is a little bit of a bust. And a little bit of that, I did great with Nashville Market. I showed you that I got Lindy Stitches, Penelope Posies. I haven't started that yet. But I it got shipped separately. I got the sticker plates that Lindy Stitches has that has the title and the stitched by and the date and the special notes to stick on the back of your stitching project. So those came. But then we went to Nashville to see, we ended up seeing both of our boys. One lives in Chicago and one lives in Nashville, and the one from Chicago was visiting because he went to play rugby, the big Nash Bash. And so we got to see both of them and their wonderful girlfriends while we were down there. But then they left, and we got to go around historic Franklin, Tennessee. You heard Pam talking about it, and Pam showed this sampler that I bought on hers because she went there, and I think it was also at Nashville Market, but it's the Carter House sampler, and we toured Carter House, and this sampler is hanging on the wall, and we stood in the large room that there's a bed in there, and it was like they said family would hang out in the room too, but it was a bedroom, and it's hanging on the wall. And so we stood in there probably for a good 15 minutes with our tour guide talking about the battle and the family and what happened and where the family was in relation to when the Battle of Franklin happened. And I spent, oh my gosh, I spent almost all my time staring at this sampler, just admiring it and wishing that I could take a picture of it. So when we got done and we went to the gift shop, I beelined it to the gift shop, they didn't have any. And so, but they did, there's 3 houses there, the Lotz house, the Carter house, and then there's another one, sorry. We didn't go in the 3rd one because we ran out of time, they were closing. But I got to the gift shop down there and they had 1 left. And the guy said he's gonna order more. He goes, I'm gonna have to order 10 at a time because these have been selling out. But it came with all the floss and the fabric. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's just so pretty. And it's just so amazing to think about them stitching back then. And I'm guessing they probably didn't have a pattern they were going by. They were just stitching. I just think that's cool. So that kind of blew my budget a little bit. But that's okay. I really wanted that piece. That's okay. I saved a stitch while I was down there. We went to, there was a Goodwill right by our hotel, and for $2.99 I got this piece. It's a pretty piece. I don't know who it's by. I wonder if it's one of the Jabco. Sometimes they offer up special patterns sometimes, and because those are all Jabco buttons in there. Little nativity. And they had to have paid a mint for the framing because these mats, it's built up because of the buttons. It was stitched at Cross Stitch Corner in Nashville, which I don't think is in existence anymore. It kind of bothers me that the buttons are crooked. They're all crooked, and that really kind of bothers me. So we'll see if it just keeps growing on me and I like it, or if I take it apart. Okay. So I told you in my last video that I kind of was struggling. I was really struggling with concentrating on any project. I was kind of flitting here and there, and it was kind of crazy. And after I did that, I looked at my projects and I kind of got to work, and I finished this. This is BlackBird's design, Lady Liberty. And my son, John, who's 23 and just became a CNA, got his first big boy job. He's very excited and he really, really loves it. He saw this, he saw it out, and he's like, oh, hey Mom, that's really cool. And so I finished it for him. So I'm gonna frame that up for him. I can't decide how I want to frame it. What I have in mind is Michelle Bendy showed an oval frame for her first designed piece that she got, and somebody else showed a frame, an oval frame with a little bit of ornate on the top, and it's kind of white and looks distressed. That's what I have in mind. I don't know that white is going to work, but the oval frame or a circle frame is what I have in mind, and I can't find anything anywhere. I've been to Goodwill, I've been to different places, and I can't find anything. Somebody said they got that frame at Home Goods, and so we have a Home Goods, and I went there and no luck. There was nothing. Then I finished this same piece that I'm going to give away. Welcome Spring. And I just love that. I finished that. Car Stitching is my friend, and I finished that as we were coming back from Nashville. This is on 32 count Sandcastle Joblin. So I'm not sure how I'm going to finish that yet, but I'm pretty excited about that. Having two finishes. What else? Okay, so then we got back, and Thursday, yesterday morning, I came in here and I played in my room, and I told you guys a couple times ago that I don't remember where I saw it. Maybe I was just playing around. I saw this Beeskip that I thought was just adorable. And this is on Podunk Pretty's blog spot. Leanne is the blog writer, and so I made I think I showed you my little bee skip that I made, but I really wanted to make that bee. isn't that cute? I really, really wanted to make it. So I went and got my cinnamon tablets that she said she used. And she said, which I'm cracking up because I tried. She said that she put yellow fabric around the cinnamon pill and drew black lines on it. She drew black lines on with Sharpie marker and glued it to the capsule. A black button with yellow pin heads made the head, and the only thing holding the button is the pin stuck into the capsule. The wings are 2 layers of fabric fused with heat and bond light between them. Well, I tried really hard to wrap fabric around a cinnamon capsule. And I don't know how she did it, but I just kept trying. Maybe my fingers are just not meant, but mine like turned out horribly. Maybe she just had like good photography skills. This one's the best one. But by then I was a little bit frustrated and I kind of gave up. This one's not too bad. But I gave up. And so I was looking at my my lunchbox, my Charlie Brown lunchbox, and my needle minder, and I had a bee needle minder, and then I got my Jabco buttons, and I had little bee buttons, and so here's mine. Now I need to practice sewing on my sewing machine with circles, because my circles aren't so great, but I just stuck these little buttons on the back of a pin that had a little ball head on it. Let it sit for a little while, and then I've got my little bees. So I'm excited about that. The one thing, so they say you take a button and you sew a button all the way through to the bottom. And I first did it, I used some heavy duty thread is what I used first, and it didn't do a good job holding it. It was wobbly. So then I found some yellow DMC floss, and I used 2 strands, and I did it again. And this time when she shows in her instructions, she shows how she put it together. I did it like that. So there was separation, and I could really take my time and look at where I was putting the next one through so that they lined up and they were pretty even. And then I pulled them. I pulled both ends together and pulled so it was kind of tight, so they're kind of snug, and then tied it in a knot down here. You know who, where I heard about this from Kelly Stodola. She's the one who talked about this on her, on the Kelly and Joan show. So I'm going to keep practicing to see if I can't get better at making those circles, because you can go on this blog spot and she gives you the pattern. I think I showed you guys that last time, that you could download the circles and the pattern on there. Yep. So I'll put the link below so that you could find that. Oh, let me go back a second. So I did this. I wanted to talk more about this. So I was doing this because I was doing this for a drum giveaway or a pincushion giveaway for the Fancy Works retreat last year. And so I started doing this, and and I was really in love with it. I mean, the coverage on her dress, that's just one stitch over, it's over 2, one thread over 2. And I really, really loved it. And then I got to looking at the directions in the drum a little more closely. And I was like, this is going to be the hunkinest big drum, you ever did see. And so I was like, I think I've messed up a little bit, because the count was a lot lower. And so I redid it. And I just took this same fabric, and I just did it over one, which I really loved. You can see how much smaller it is. And then obviously I still own it. I don't follow directions very well. And so my drum didn't get made. I worked for 2 hours on making this drum, but I went rogue and was just doing my own thing. And yeah, it didn't get made. So Vanna finished it for me. And I have it, so. But I was like, I might as well finish this. Now, the dress with just one thread is beautiful. It's beautiful coverage. But the red and the blue and the flag and her hair with just one thread, I don't know, I'm just not very happy with it. But I'm happy with it overall. And I think it'll look pretty framed. And my son was excited about it. So, and you know, my boys, all 4 of my boys, they enjoy what I stitch. They ooh and ah over it, and my husband, but they're boys. I don't know how much they really like. Love it. Last week I also talked about, or last time I also talked about the RolaFrame, and I knew I had found his card when I was cleaning up in here, but I found his name is Dan King. Here's his information, and I'll put it all below. He's the nicest man. He's the owner. It's him and his kids helping. So if you would like one, just be prepared that you're going to have to wait. It will, you know, he makes them one at a time, and it's going to take a little bit. So I hope you will support him because he seems like a super nice guy. All right, what else did I want to show you about? Oh, I think I told you guys several episodes ago that I had a friend who stitched, and she was moving, and she had cross-stitch stuff that she didn't stitch anymore. In fact, one time I said something to her about Flossstube, and she looked like I was totally crazy, so that was the end of that conversation. But she called me when she was cleaning out her house and said, hey, I have all of this cross-stitch stuff. I'd like you to have it. I don't want to throw it away or give it to Goodwill or whatever. So she gave me big bags of DMC thread, and some was bobbinated, some wasn't. And I couldn't decide what to do with it. I was like, I'm not bobbinating all this right now. I'd have carpal tunnel by the end. And then I was listening to Darling Bluebell, and she was talking about now she's not going to bobbinate her floss anymore because she doesn't like the kinks when you undo it, and it's kind of got the kink in it, even though it doesn't show up in your stitching. But she's decided she doesn't like that anymore, and she found in a really elaborate storage system that she bought from a place in Colorado. And it was really interesting watching it, but I was like, okay, I don't want to change again. I've been putting my fancy floss in floss away bags. I don't have very much fancy floss. I'm kind of a DMC girl. Sometimes I'll use it if the kit, you know, if it really calls for it, I'll use it. And I like it. I don't know why. I'm just kind of DMC. And I think it also, too, because I don't have an LNS here anymore. So I've got DMC on hand. But I was like, I'm not going to bobbinate all this stuff. I had a lot. I had 2-gallon Ziploc baggies full. And so should I just throw those in floss away bags and start going that way? I'm like, I'm not changing. I have 3 containers. I have 3 containers of DMC floss. I know I don't have the full collection. And right over here on my grandma's sewing table, there we go. That is a cabinet that has drawers that has DMC in it. And so I have a lot in there. That's for like here, and I could just pull things out. These are for when if I go to retreat or if I travel and I want to take them just in case I take those. But so what I did was I sat down today and I just put them, because if I get sent something, or if I'm organized something and I put it in a Ziploc baggie, or if I get a pattern, when I get patterns and they're in those zip pouches, I can't throw those away. So I have a baggie full of baggies. So I just organized them, like these are all 700s, these are all 600s, 500s, and I just put them all in here now so that if I need a thread and I don't have them already bobbinated, I don't have to search through this humongous pile of thread. I can just look in here. I did keep black and white separate. So I got those all organized, ready to go. So what have I been working on? WIPs. I've been working on Snowflower Diaries April. I started this a little bit last week, and then driving, and then sitting outside yesterday, and then watching Purdue win last night. Although, I mean, Purdue's all fine. I'm from Indiana. Purdue's fine. I think I'm more of an Indiana girl. But, so I've got that worked on. And then, what else have I been working on? I've been trying to be monogamous, a little bit more monogamous, to work on just one thing at a time, because I feel like I need to get things finished, and at the same time I have things screaming at me going, why don't you start me? I have things kitted up, ready to go. I made a little bit of progress on, who is this? Heart and Hand, Spread Kindness. I've made just a little more progress. And then I started, because I found it, I showed you guys, the Little House Needlewoks-Apples. In one night I did the border on the Snowflower Diaries, and I got this border done, and like 2 in one night. I got 2 borders done in one night. How exciting is that? And they matched. I didn't have to tear anything out. That was very exciting. Mrs. Delicious is coming along. She's almost ready to meet Mr. Delicious. Somebody was asking, I'm going to be going to StitchCon again this year, and there's a small exchange, and somebody was asking, oh my gosh, what should I make, and what do people want, and how do I decide? Make whatever you want. Make whatever you have handy, whatever. We're stitchers. We're going to be happy to get your handiwork and whatever it is. But I thought I'd show what I got last year. I got this scissor fob, and the scissors were on there. Isn't that adorable? And they wrote StitchCon on the bottom in 2018, and they gave me the pattern. And I took a picture with the lovely gal. She's from New York, and I apologize because I need to write things down. I should have found that. But make whatever you want. I haven't decided what I'm making yet. I need to get on the ball and get that made and get that finished. But make whatever you want, and that'll be good because everybody will love it. So those are my 3 things that I'm really working on now that I want to get finished so that I could start on my next endeavors of things that I want to get done. I'm going to do one shameless plug. I hope you don't mind. I think you've all heard about Betsy DeVos and her wanting to cut $18 million from the Special Olympics budget. And I work with kids with special needs. I am the advisor for our Best Buddies chapter at my high school. And Best Buddies was started by Anthony Shriver, part of the Shriver family that started Special Olympics. Best Buddies is an organization that pairs students with intellectual and developmental disabilities with students who don't. And they form a friendship. And the peers agree to talk with their buddy every single week and do 2 activities a month. It's been a beautiful thing for our students. A lot of our students don't have after school activities or don't get to go to other places and interact with the regular population. We have a branch of Special Olympics throughout our school district called Unified Sports, and we have a Unified PE where they blend the students and do activities, and the peers model and help push and engage with them. So anyways, our big fundraiser is coming up. We do a friendship walk. Chicago's doing theirs on the same day as we are in Normal, Illinois. And all the local Central Illinois chapters are going to come to Normal, to our corn crib, which is our baseball stadium, and we're going to walk. And so our school needs to raise $5,000, and we're a little behind. So if you wouldn't mind sponsoring one of my students or sponsoring me, that's fine. I'm going to put all the information below. You can just, I'll put it's like the world's largest URL. It's www.BestBuddies Friendship Walk online. Wait, BestBuddies Friendship Walk.org/normal. But I'll put it below because it's a lot easier that way. And our team is Normal West. So, but absolutely no pressure at all, because if you've checked out Kathleen's Trodden Trail and the hardship that the farmers in Nebraska are going through right now, I wouldn't be upset if you went to her blog, or not her blog, to her website, to her Flossstube, can't talk, and sent in a donation there, because I feel so bad for them. I really do. I was crying along with Kathleen when she was talking about her neighbors and the farmers, and ranchers losing all of their herd, the llama rescue that lost all of their llamas, that her neighbors who've gotten sewage in their basement because their septic's backed up. I said to my husband, because we have a septic where I live, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought that could back up into our house. So how horrific. And they don't live in a floodplain, so they don't have flood insurance, and so I don't think they're covered. It's a total loss. So whatever you want to do is perfectly fine for me. Or, you want to go out and donate to your local something, go do that. That is perfectly fine too. As Daylene would say, I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for all my stitchy friends. I love reading your comments. I love watching Flosstube and seeing everybody and what everybody's working on, and enjoying stitching. And that just brings me such joy and happiness and such peace. It's my mental therapy. Totally is. So goodbye till next time, and I hope you all are well, and we'll talk to you soon.